Hi there, and welcome to Lost in Literature. I'm laughing at myself, and I'm just thinking, what an apt title I have picked up today. Not really by choice, but some time back my sister had sent this poem to me, and I thought, let me just, do it for the fun of it. It's a very languorous evening today, and I'm I'm just chilling after all the tuitions I've had for the day. And this poem, When You're Old by William Butler Yeats, is fun. In fact, this is my second take today because the first one I forgot to clip the headphone to the iPad, and I had done it, and then I realized, oh my God, the the wire is just lying beside me, and I hadn't, you know, attached it to the iPad. I'm honestly old. So I guess this topic is absolutely suitable for me. All right, let's take a look at the first stanza. When you're old and grey and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. So there you are. The poet Yeats is addressing this poem to someone in particular. And this poem was apparently addressed to Maud Gonne, who was a very revolutionary Irish figure. She was also an actress, I think, and Yeats was just in love with her so much. But she didn't want anything much to do with him in the light of a lover. So she kept, pushing him off. And finally, she married someone else. And then apparently, she got divorced. And then it is believed that there was a relationship between Yeats and her. So this is what Yeats says, he says to her, when you're old and you're grey and full of sleep. Note how he has used the word and and again. It kind of slows down, and you are looking back, reflecting on another time, and your body processes have kind of slowed because really you are in old age. So he says, when you're old and grey and full of sleep and you're nodding, you know how old people will just close their eyes, they have a book, in their lap, and then they'll nod like that, and then they'll wake up, right? And then kind of continue to look very alert. Yeah, I've got the poem on my on my mobile. And nodding by the fire, take down this book. He's talking about a particular book, and perhaps it's the book where he has written down a number of poems, and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once. So there you are, he's urging her to slowly read the poem. He has some purpose in his mind. And he's, you know, telling her uh, to dream of that soft look her eyes had once. So that's how her eyes looked. And he's very soft. And he's thinking of, the past. He's making her think of the past. Those days when her eyes looked soft, inviting. But that is not the case now. She's old. And now her eyes are full of shadows. Okay? Time has passed. So she has completely, what do you call it, changed. And this reminds us that as time passes, we age, we look different. Definitely, we will not have the glow and the flush of our youth. So, he's reminding her of that, evoking those times in her mind, and he's also asking her to read the poem. Now, on to the second stanza. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing eyes. So there you are. In this second stanza, he is reminding her of the man who loved her. And he's also reminding her of all those people who had lost their hearts to her. You know, providing her with moments of happiness, glad grace, alliteration for you. And they loved her beauty, whether they were true in their intentions or false. Nobody knows, but she had a lot of people hankering after her. But he singles out one man, and I think he's referring to himself. He loved the pilgrim soul in you. See, he's referring, when he says pilgrim soul, he's referring to her restlessness, her habit of wandering from one thing to another, from one interest to another. That was the kind of person she was. And this man loved that kind of a spirit in her. And he also was sensitively aware of all the setbacks she experienced in her life and the way her expressions on the face changed. All right? He could well read her sorrows, empathize with her. That was the kind of man he was, who truly loved her, and he was ready to stand by her. But did she accept him? No. She had a pilgrim soul. She was restless. She moved on. She probably rejected him and rebuffed his overtures, froze his love. And now the third stanza. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. So many thoughts come to me reading this, and it is a perfect poem for this evening when I also look back on all those golden days in the past. And bending down beside the glowing bars. Now remember, he spoke about her sitting by the fire. So you have the fireside there, and in there you have the glowing bars, the logs of wood which are smouldering red and emanating heat because she needs it. and murmur, and you're murmuring a little sadly. How love fled, how love was something so transient as time. It was something that she couldn't pin down. She couldn't hope to possess it permanently. And she's thinking about that, musing over it a little sadly. And so he says, there you are by the fireside, uh, nodding, your hair grey, your eyes full of shadows, and you are thinking of your past, the people who loved you. And particularly this man, he says, read my book. Remember I loved you? And where am I now? I am up on the mountains, pacing. There I was overhead on the mountains, walking up and down. What does that indicate to you? Time had passed, and maybe he had passed away too. So he was up there, close to the heavens, and he was pacing up and down there. He still loved her, I think, and he hid his face. She would not be able to see him now. Amid a crowd of stars, he was part of heaven. He was completely absorbed in another time, another place. He was beyond her reach, and she wouldn't be able to spot him anymore in her horizon. Right? And that is what happens. We have a different perspective when we are young. And very often we are ready to kiss goodbye to things that were things and people that were, faithful to us, were true to us, but they didn't appeal to us. There was something that didn't allow us to be with them. And then years later, when you're alone, sitting by the fireside, looking at the glowing bars of the smouldering logs, which appear red. All right? There you are, and you're thinking of your love. The man who lost his heart to you long, long ago, and you didn't requite his love. And now where is he? He's gone. The time is gone. And there he is among the stars. It's a lovely poem, and it really suits my mood today. How many people did I brush aside in my youth? I wonder. So I'll leave you to think about the poem and then to grab your opportunities when they come. Don't, uh, you know, be too deliberate in your thinking. Choose also impulsively. Choose with your heart rather than your head. So that's it for today. Catch you again.